Missouri Valley celebrates homecoming, waking old traditions, and extending new ones. Welcome to KMVC News. I'm Deja White. The Missouri Valley Board of Trustees voted unanimously to extend the contract of school president Joe Parisi 3 years during its meeting on the 22nd. Parisi is a 1994 Valley alumnus and became Missouri Valley's 14th president in July of 2023, though he served as president-elect beginning with his first contract in December 2022. Missouri Valley has had campus enrollments of more than 1,500 students in each of his 3 years, and retention and graduation rates are higher over that span. He oversaw the academic reorganization from 6 divisions to 6 different schools, and with the Director of Institutional Effectiveness and Planning, Gary Heiserer, helped Missouri Valley through its recent 10-year accreditation. Valley lit up homecoming, bringing back an old tradition that stemmed from a group of students running from Marshall to Orlando for the bowl game in 1959. While a version of the torch run has endured for homecoming since the 60s, the 2025 homecoming pep rally was also sparked by the return of the bonfire. Missouri Valley Alumni Director Reagan Godsey brought back an old tradition for homecoming that has not been seen in more than 5 years. She says she brings it back knowing most alumni return to Valley once a year, and that is for homecoming. She says she hopes that alumni and current students connect through the return of the bonfire. This year, the bonfire was lit by head women's soccer coach Drew Hawkins.
So Drew Hawkins was the Valhalla Coach of the Year in the spring, and I would like to continue that tradition of whoever the Coach of the Year is to be our honorary torch holder for homecoming weekend.
Hawkins' team joined him as he brought the torch through campus to the pile of wood and started the bonfire.
It was a tremendous honor to be asked, and just super excited for all the alumni for this to be back, and for all my players that got to run with me and help me light it. It was really exciting, so yeah, I'm just super grateful.
With an old tradition returning, Friday night also consisted of a new and revised torch run. 1 alumni and 1 current player from Valley's athletic teams competed in a mile run around Greg Mitchell Field. Cross country won for men and basketball for women. These traditions date back decades and bring back memories for many.
So when they stopped having the real torch run and the bonfire, that was kind of disappointing, but it's a neat deal to have it back because it's an old tradition, and it's just been a beautiful night to do it. The weather's held out, and I think the kids enjoy having something like this.
Godsey says she would love for the bonfire tradition to continue, rekindling the connection with alumni and igniting it for future ones. The traditional spot for the bonfire is where the Fletcher Center is now, so the bonfire location this year was in the lots across from Conway, east of Beatty Hall. With the Missouri Valley football team was still looking for its first conference win on the season against Missouri Baptist, and the Spartans were looking for their first conference win. Missouri Baptist was Valley's homecoming opponent in 2023, a win for the Vikings. Missouri Baptist was driving on its first possession when Valley's Octavius Griffin forced a fumble, and the Vikings recovered. They went 97 yards in 16 plays and in 10 minutes, capped by Tamel Staples hitting Eddie Strong for an 11-yard touchdown pass. Missouri Baptist never found the end zone, kicking 3 field goals and taking a 9-7 lead late into the 4th. 4th and goal from the 1, Silas Morton in the Wildcat formation is stopped by the defense. Missouri Baptist spoils the homecoming party with a 9-7 win. Staples was 19 of 28 passing. Morton had 57 yards on 18 carries after carrying the ball 8 times for 31 yards on Valley's first drive. Octavius Griffin had 7 tackles, a pass breakup, and a forced fumble, earning him the Ted Chitwood Award as most outstanding senior in the homecoming game.
Just executing the plays that coach put in place for me. Firstly, I cannot do anything without the other 10 guys that's on the field with me. So just executing and pushing my guys every day to be better.
Missouri Valley now heads to Benedictine for a game on the 1st against the 3rd-ranked Ravens. The home schedule wraps up on the 8th against Mid-America Nazarene. The Missouri Valley women's soccer team could clinch at least one more home match during the Heart of America Athletic Conference postseason tournament with a win against the Mount Mercy Mustangs. The Mustangs are battling to make the tournament after a strong start to their season. The Vikings controlled play from the start. Ashley Arribas scored in the 6th minute to give the Vikings a lead that would not get challenged. 2 minutes later, Zoe Cristofaro scored her 4th goal of the season. Still in the first half, Arribas gets her 2nd of the game off a pass from Ana Rendon to make it 3-0. Arribas had a couple of chances stopped by Mustang keeper Manuela Gutierrez, but she got that hat trick in the 34th minute, giving Arribas 8 goals on the season, 4-0 at the break, an own goal, and goals from Judith Fede and Maddie Hudson pushed Valley's win to 7-0. Fede now has 9 goals. The Vikings held the Mustangs to 1 shot. It's career win number 200 for head coach Drew Hawkins. Valley clinches at least the 3 seed in the Hart tournament with the win and Benedictine's draw with Grandview. KMVC News has more on Hawkins and his 200th win in the show on November 4th. Every game for the Missouri Valley men's soccer team is a playoff game. By winning their final 3 games and getting some help, the Vikings can still finish as high as 5th in the Hart Conference standings. That means wins against Mount Mercy, Missouri Baptist, and Baker, but lose either of the 2 first games, and the game against Baker is likely the final game of the season. Missouri Valley broke a scoring drought of more than 290 minutes with Jose Watanabe's goal in the 64th minute. The Vikings scored a second time on Taiga Matsumoto's goal in the 82nd minute. That's his 4th goal on the year. Mount Mercy pulled within 1 on a penalty kick with 2:30 remaining, but the Vikings killed those final 150 seconds and topped Mount Mercy 2-1. Valley now has to get through Missouri Baptist on the 28th. Missouri Valley and Missouri Baptist have identical 4-5-2 Hart records. The winner clinches a spot in the postseason tournament, and the loser has to win the regular season finale and hope for William Woods to beat or tie Benedictine on November 1st. A tie between the Vikings and Spartans opens a path for William Woods and Clark to the tournament. So 6 teams could be playing for the final 2 spots. Homecoming festivities didn't end with the homecoming game. Missouri Valley and the Marshall Chamber of Commerce celebrated the weekend with the first homecoming block party. The party started at 6 on the Marshall Square with live music, food trucks, and inflatable fun for kids and families. Local favorites included burgers, tacos, and barbecue, even some various popcorn treats as Marshallites, Valley students, and alumni wrapped up the festivities. Missouri Valley featured a guest speaker on October 20th to raise awareness of a historical matter that is tied to the Midwest before and during westward expansion. Anthropologist Caroline Crecilius spoke to Missouri Valley students at the Mural Library Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning about the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. She told stories about her experiences with tribes in Alaska, the Great Lakes, and Nebraska, as well as Missouri state parks. Crecilius talked about different tribal perspectives, the importance of protection and sacred sites, and cultural cooperation. Missouri Valley biology students are wrapping up their field studies. That's field work that is helping them gain hands-on experience to connect with and learn about the natural world. KMVC's Luis Palomino reports the studies make the world a classroom.
Fieldwork is part of independent studies. For the biology major at Missouri Valley, it allows students to experience and apply class knowledge in the real field.
The best people that I've worked with that are fresh out of undergraduate have been the Missouri Valley graduates that I brought along with me on the project. So
Professor Heiler explains the benefits of getting students outdoors and out of their comfort zone.
when we get students outside, out of their comfort zone, it puts everybody on a level plane. And so a lot of times students let their guard down or feel vulnerable because they're in kind of an uncomfortable situation, but then they realize, that the person next to them is feeling the same way.
At the start of semester, students propose a topic of interest for their field projects. After highly revision, it gets approved or not, and fieldwork kicks off.
I have a couple students doing herpetofauna research at Marshall Junction Conservation Area. And so they're doing a general herp survey, but then I have another student that's looking at activity patterns and demographics of snakes. And I also have a group of students that are doing fish work on the Salt Fork Creek.
Studying snakes at Marshall Junction Conservation Area, which is like 20 minutes away And what I do is basically I look for snakes and I'm trying to compare diversity between two different slopes. One is a west-facing slope and the other one is south-facing slope. So
I think primarily outdoor education, field work, or field experiences is one of the best ways to learn. So if you're able to talk about something in the classroom, go outside, put your eyes on it, put your hands on it, that information is retained much easier and things start to make more sense. You're able to understand the bigger picture and broader concept.
There's a lot of things that I really enjoy of my field work. I think the main one would be just the fact that I'm outdoors. I've always liked the outdoors and nature, so.
As fieldwork projects come to an end, Missouri Valley biology students continue to explore how science applies far beyond the classroom. Luis Palomino, KMVC News.
Hyler and the biology students' exploration and experience of science outside the classroom is another of the examples Missouri Valley uses to promote experiential learning for its students. Missouri Valley hosted a Fields of Faith event on October 20th on Greg Mitchell Field inside Ashford Stadium. The evening was hosted by the Bridge Collegiate Ministry and other campus organizations. Students were involved in worship, then student testimonies, and special messages by campus leaders. More than 175 people gathered on the field, having an evening to bring students and community members together to encourage and fellowship one another. The Missouri Valley women's volleyball team hits its final week of the regular season with a slim chance of making the postseason tournament. The Vikings helped their cause with a 3-0 win against Culver Stockton on the 21st. The Vikings fell on the road to Park, so they sit 1.5 games out of the 8th and final postseason spot. Missouri Valley hosts Central Methodist on the 28th before wrapping up its regular season on Halloween night in the Burns Center. The regular season ends league-wide on November 4th. Heading into the games on the 28th, 5 teams are playing for the final playoff position. KMVC News reported in the last edition about the success of the Missouri Valley golf teams heading into the Fall Heart Conference tournament. And the men's team continued that success by winning the fall title by 16 strokes. Valley's Felipe Suarez won the tournament by 8 shots with a 6-under 138 at Paradise Point in Smithville, Missouri. Suarez earned the conference's Player of the Week for the 3rd time this season, and after taking the individual title. Chad Coburn finished 3rd with a 3 over 147. The women's team finished 7th overall, and the Vikings' Hannah Riker posted the best scores for Valley, finishing 7 shots off the lead with a 22 over 166 for the 2-day event. Missouri Valley's esports teams scored victories in Marble Rivals, beating Drury 3-0 to improve to 5-1. The Rocket League team topped Concordia St. Paul 4-3 and is now 4-1 on the year. The Valorant team fell to Morningside 2-0, and the Jim Boone era in the Missouri Valley's college men's basketball opened on homecoming night against the UHSP Athletics. Devin Davenport scored 33 points on 9 of 18 shooting and making 14 of his 17 free throws, helping Missouri Valley to an 89-79 win. The Vikings overcame a slow start to take an 11-point lead in the halftime and led most of the second half by double digits. Antoine Farrell and Demario Moss also scored in double figures for Missouri Valley. MVC shot 50% for the game, 41% from 3, and was 30 of 37 for 81% from the free throw line. Missouri Valley hosts Avila on November 1st. The women's team begins their season on November 4th in a doubleheader with the men against Hannibal LaGrange. Late October brought cooler temperatures to west central Missouri, setting the scene for a campfire and a night of sweet treats, music, and games. Valley Student Government Association kicked off homecoming week, inviting everyone to s'mores on the quad. Students and some people from the community gathered to enjoy the warm fires and treats. While many have had s'mores before, one student says it was her first time making and trying s'mores, and she could not get enough. With plenty of chocolate, marshmallows, and graham crackers, everyone continued toasting marshmallows and sharing laughs through the night. The Student Government Association even got some dances out of the crowd before ending the night. The sweet treat that is, KMVC News returns on November 4th with a look at the Halloween activities as well as a preview of the women's basketball season. Thanks for watching. I'm Dejoy, and this is KMVC News.